Hi, I'm Elizabeth. That's me. I make YouTube videos, obviously, but I also like to be creative in other parts of my life, including on Instagram, in my opinion, the most creative of the social media. And for this month's plan with me, I decided it would be fun to combine two of my favorite social media platforms, Instagram and YouTube, to create my bullet journal. So this month, I'm letting my Instagram followers control my bullet journal plan with me. The first thing I needed before I could get started was my theme. So I asked you folks on Instagram what themes you wanted to see from me, and you gave me a bunch of awesome suggestions. The top 8 were Hot August Nights, Space, Bohemian, Camping, Fairy Lights, Ocean, Floral, and Tropical. The winners of each pairing were paired up again for round 2. The first pairing of round 2 was Hot August Nights and Bohemian. The second pairing of round 2 was Fairy Lights and Floral. Once you'd all had time to vote, we went into the very last pairing in round 3, Hot August Nights and Fairy Lights. As you can see, they were very, very close. It kept going back and forth between them. They were 50-50 for quite a while, but Fairy Lights ended up on top, and so Fairy Lights is our theme for August 2018, and let me tell you, I'm super excited about this one. Now that we have our theme, let's jump right into the cover page, and I'll keep showing you the polls that I conducted as we go. So once I knew that I was doing Fairy Lights, I started brainstorming ideas and using Pinterest for inspiration. And then I realized I had to know if you wanted to see very intricate drawings, maybe some more watercoloring, or if you wanted something a little more simple. So I put out a poll, and it looks like you folks wanted to see something a little more simple. Now, I did get a little carried away because I got very excited about the Fairy Lights, so it's maybe not as simple or minimal as I sometimes do, but it's definitely more simple than the full-on watercolor painting ideas that I was having as soon as we decided on this theme. The next thing I wanted to know was if you wanted to see headers and titles that were more of a block print style, or if you wanted more of a cursive or calligraphy style. And you voted for calligraphy, and so I did my headers in more of a calligraphy style. So for my Fairy Lights, I decided to make them a little bit more interesting. I wanted lights of different shapes and kinds, and some that looked almost like stars. I thought it was a bit of a prettier effect than just doing more of a standard, evenly placed fairy light kind of look. So I hope you enjoy this. Of course, if you're doing your own fairy lights, you can do them however you want, and that's kind of the fun of it. You can decide where you might want a larger light, where you want a smaller one, if you want them to be super regular, or if you want them to be a little bit more quirky and unique looking. I also saw a bunch of mason jars filled with fairy lights on Pinterest, and I just thought they looked so beautiful. So I wanted to include a couple on my cover page. I thought it would be a nice little addition to this theme. As always, every single thing I am using in this video will be in the description box, so check it out if you want to know what supplies I'm using. Of course, for a fairy light theme, I had to go with yellow, so I'm using my yellow Tombow brush pen. This is the color 991. I decided to do sort of a pointillism style ombre effect on the lettering, which I actually really loved. So I concentrated more of the color, more of the dots at the bottom of the letters, and then tried to make a gradient effect going upwards. So at the top of the letters, there was no color. And I think it gives a really nice light effect, like it's glowing. Next up, as always, I do a quote page, and for my quote page this month, I decided it would be fun to poll all of you and see what quote you wanted me to do. So I gave you 7 options of quotes that had to do with light that I liked, that I found on Pinterest, of course, and you picked this Dumbledore quote, which I absolutely love. Of course, you picked the longest one, so it took me a while to figure out how I was going to fit the quote on the page, how I was going to make it interesting, but I do love this quote, and I'm honestly glad you chose it. So the quote is, "Happiness can be found even in the darkest of times if one only remembers to turn on the light." And I like that. I like that message. Now, with that said, I do quite like this quote, but as someone who has struggled with depression, and if you're new to my channel, welcome. I talk about mental health on this channel. I think it's important to be open and honest about our mental health struggles and to share that with other people, and so I do on my platform. So as someone who has struggled with depression for the majority of my life, this type of quote has often made me feel very bad about myself because I haven't always been able to find happiness in my darkest times. And that's something that happens when you struggle with your mental health. If you have mental illness, it's not always possible to find that happiness for a variety of reasons. So this quote is not to say that you have to be able to find happiness in every dark situation, or you should always be happy, or that if you're not happy, it's something that you're not doing, or you haven't turned on the light and that's your fault. Not at all. It's more a reminder for myself as someone who has struggled with not being able to figure out how to find happiness in darker times in my life, that it is possible for it to get better. And that doesn't mean that you can just turn on a light switch and you'll be happy that instant. But it does mean, and for me, I kind of interpret it in that the light can be turned on again, and it's possible, and it might be hard to figure out where that light switch is. It might be hard to actually flip that light switch, but if you can manage to find it, if you can manage to hold on and take care of yourself and find the strength and the support to be able to turn on that light switch, it will get better. And now I'm getting emotional. I didn't plan on getting so emotional, but I just wanted to put out a disclaimer. So yeah, I just wanted to clarify that because it can be very hard when you struggle with your mental health to have people seemingly trivialize what you're going through and just ask why you can't just decide to be happy, which is a whole other video. If you want me to make a video about positivity culture and the kind of funny, are they funny? I don't know, things that people say to people struggling with mental health, let me know and I can make a video like that. As always, if this is something that resonates with you, if you are in a dark place and you're having trouble finding the light switch, support is one of the biggest things you can do, finding support. And if you don't have a supportive family or friend group, and honestly, even if you do, therapy can be such a big source of support and strength when you are searching for that light switch. So I highly recommend you get yourself to therapy ASAP if you aren't already seeing a therapist. And if you aren't able to see a therapist in person, I highly suggest using a service like BetterHelp, which is an online counseling service. I have talked about it in many videos, and I'm going to continue to speak about it because I've had some feedback from people who have tried it out since I've spoken about it, and they're noticing a difference in their life, and that is all I want. If I can make a difference in one person's life, and if one person's life can be improved by getting that support from a trained professional, then it will be worth it. So I'm going to mention it again. BetterHelp is an online counseling service with registered therapists and counselors, and you can speak with them through a chat on the phone or through a video conference and have access to them on a much more flexible basis than you normally would with a regular therapist. And it also is a lot more affordable than therapy tends to be, especially if you are in a big city like I am. So I will not go on any more about it, but the link will be in the description. So check it out if you are needing that support. So moving on to my monthly spread for the month of August. This one, I was inspired by a cover page that I saw on Pinterest. As always, I will pin all of my inspiration images that I found as I was doing research and deciding what I was going to do for this on my Bujo board on Pinterest. It'll be linked in the description box if you want to check it out. So it's basically just a bunch of string lights hanging down through the whole background of the calendar. So I haven't done this for a while, but I really wanted to feature some of the recreations I've been tagged in on Instagram lately. I have some recreations of my May Star Wars theme, some line art drawing recreations, a bunch of people trying out my Rolling Weekly style spread. I even have a coffee theme recreation. That one was from a little while ago. And I have one moon recreation from all of my moon videos that I put up last month. I actually had way more moon recreations sent to me on Facebook this time around. Normally I get almost all of them through Instagram. And because on Facebook it's attached to people's real full names and not just a username, I felt a little less comfortable sharing those in this video. So if you are watching this and you shared your moon with me on Facebook and you want me to actually share it in my next month's video, please let me know. You can send me a DM on Instagram, or you can comment down below or message me on Facebook, whatever's easier for you. As always, you can tag me on Instagram at Elizabeth Turn if you want me to see your recreations, or just generally if you want me to see your bullet journal. It doesn't have to be a recreation of one of mine. I just like to see your work. I did a similar sort of pointillism ombre effect on the header there for August. And just filling in the dates that I already know for August. I actually don't know that much about what I'm going to be doing in August yet. July has been quite a doozy and I'm still in the thick of it. So all I know for August so far is that my birthday is coming up. I'm turning 26. It's very exciting. And I know the days that I get paid from my job, and I also know that I have therapy every Monday at 1 p.m., which, like I said, is very important. So now we're moving on to my next set of spreads, my habit spread and my moods and sleep spread. I believe I've switched up one or two of the habits I'm tracking, but for the most part, my habits are the same. So the habits I track are getting up by 7 in the morning, taking my temperature in the morning, drinking 3 liters of water, taking my vitamins, doing proper skincare in the morning and at night, tidying, making my bed, cleaning out the kitty litter, doing the dishes, doing some self-care, dancing. I am a dancer, if you don't know, so taking time to go to a dance class or give myself a dance class, stretching, affirmations, which is a new one for me, and sex, because I'm married and we use FAM for birth control, so tracking sex is part of that. As for my moods and sleep, I actually added something new to this time. For any of you who watched, I believe it was in my last video, my plan with me for June, I talked about how I was having trouble with my mood and sleep tracker because I felt like the hours weren't always reflective of how well I slept. And a lot of you recommended different ways that I could track the quality of my sleep in addition to the hours slept and my moods. So I've included qualifiers for how I actually slept along with the hours and the moods, and hopefully this will help a little bit to get a clearer picture. So now instead of just charting the hours and my moods and having 2 lines in the graph at the end of the month, I'm going to have 3. So for each day I will mark out my general mood for the majority of the day, the number of hours I slept, and also the quality of my sleep, and hopefully that will give me more of a full picture. So now I'm moving on to my weekly spread. It's again the running weekly that I've been using for a long time now. I will link in the cards the video that I made explaining how the running weekly works so that you can watch that if you're interested. And on the habits and mood spreads and on the weekly spread, I just did a couple little strings of fairy lights, keeping it very simple and just adding that little punch of yellow. Of course, I have to go through and add numbers to my spreads and add those into my index, so I will always be able to find everything I need in my index. And this is the final flip through of my August journal. So I'm super happy with how this turned out. I really love this fairy light theme. feels very much like a hot summer night. So it's almost like Hot Summer Nights also won, because I feel like fairy lights really feel like a summer night by the lake or something like that. I also love it because it makes me think of stars, and as you know, I love stars, I love space. Last year for August, I did a galaxy theme because August is my birthday month and I wanted to do something I would love, and this feels kind of reminiscent without being another star or space theme. Thank you so much to all of my Instagram followers who voted and helped me pick my theme. This was really fun. It was a bit of a challenge and a bit stressful to not know what theme I was going to be doing until pretty close to when I was filming, and then to not know what kind of lettering I'd be allowed to do and what quote I was going to end up using and all that stuff. It was a little bit stressful, but it was also fun, and it was a good challenge for me to be able to kind of work on the fly and try different things and flip my ideas around at the last second when you didn't vote the way I thought you were going to. And it was just a lot of fun to interact a little bit more with all of you on my Instagram. So for those of you who are subscribed here on YouTube and want to be more involved with me, please go check out my Instagram and follow me there. I post pretty much every day, and I try to do a bullet journal related post every other picture that I put up there. There's also a lot of other fun ways to interact with me on there. I've done live streams on there. I have an IGTV video that is a setup of my weekly spread, and I plan on doing more. I post my stories basically every single day. So it's a fun place to get to know me a bit better and for me to get to know you a little bit better and interact with you a little more. I love Instagram. So go check me out there if you're interested. Follow me there. And if you're new to my channel and you're not following me anywhere, consider subscribing. It's a fun family we have here. I am gearing up to become a lot more active on this channel again. The goal is to be posting a new video every single Friday. So starting with this video, we'll see how it goes. This is another reason why being on my Instagram is helpful. I put up a poll on my YouTube community tab asking what day of the week you'd want my videos to go up, and there was a tie basically between Wednesdays and Fridays. So I put the poll up again on my Instagram, and it actually ended up being tied again, but I got a little bit more feedback from all of you in direct messages, and I kind of came to the conclusion that Friday seemed like the best bet. So we're going with Friday uploads. And I would love to know more of what kind of videos you want to see from me, whether they be bullet journal videos or other videos. So let me know in the comments down below. Okay, that's it for today. I love you all so much. Thank you for being here with me and hanging out and being amazing and supportive. I will see you very soon in my next video. Bye.